What's up, guys? Ben here, bringing you another video today. As you can see, I've got a different background. I am at my aunt's house. Shout out to my aunt. I'm hanging in Florida for a couple of days for Passover, so enjoying all of the stylings of South Florida. It's an interesting place. That's all I'll say about that. But I'm making a video today I didn't think I'd make right now. I thought this would be something that I think was going to happen in a couple weeks, maybe like before Major 5. But Boston has actually made what I think is their final roster change of the season. Let's talk about it, what it means for the team, and what it means for Reese Vivid, who is unfortunately the player who has been dropped out of the starting lineup. So last night, around a little bit after dinner time on the East Coast, rumors started to swirl that Boston was making a change, and Reese Vivid himself actually tweeted out that he was a restricted free agent. So everybody kind of assumed that unless Reese was joking on the timeline that a change was coming, and shortly thereafter, Boston Breach posted this video and tweet that they are promoting Kremp from Boston Academy in the starting lineup for this weekend. And then if I scroll down and show you here, that Reese Vivid will be moving into a substitute position. Kind of a funny video. I don't know if they had banked this before, if they just shot this yesterday or on Sunday. It kind of leans into their whole like Boston Breach hacker spy gimmick they have. I respect them for like keeping the brand going. But let's talk a little about Kremp and how he's been playing in challengers. So Kremp was a member of Boston Academy the entire season. They've been, I believe, in every stage of the elite. So there's a lot of stats out there. I'm taking a look at the stage 2 stats. They just started stage 3 last week, and they've only played 2 games. So I really don't want to use that for stats. But taking a look at the last split, like, you're going to understand why this Boston Academy team and really the community in general has been saying this guy is the next up sub. High Slayer rating, 8.5, always getting in the action. 24.9, essentially kills per 10 minutes, ranks near the top, if not the top in North America. In terms of slaying, his KDs are all very, very good. Damage, very good. He's a solid search player. I wouldn't say that he's some world star, amazing search player, at least at the challengers level. So a potential area of work for him as he gets to the pro scene and needing to put in some work there, because we know how important search is, and especially a team like Boston. We talk about going to champs game 5s, being able to execute is key. Control stats in Major 2 were not bad. I think his activity in control is pretty good. It's just kind of hard to tell because Boston Academy was a pretty like up and down control team. But I think my kind of general takeaway with Kremp is he can definitely slay. I think especially in the respawns. He's a similar speed player to Reese Vivid, but I think maybe will just be a better fit. Maybe a little bit more controlled. I think Reese Vivid at times was subject to the overchow, and we may see that with Kremp. And I think maybe the timing on this has a lot to do with trying to get him comfortable before the last major of the season. Obviously, this major is going to be more of a studio setting, and then champs. So I think this is maybe explain why this move happened now. So let's talk a little bit about Reese Vivid. I saw that a lot of people on Twitter and on Reddit after this move were a little confused. I actually will say that from my perspective, I think this is coming for a while. I think Reese is a talented and quality submachine gun player. I think consistency is sort of the big issue. We look at his sort of overall numbers, and they're like they're not anything crazy. These are all season numbers, and a 0.92 in KD for subs is not that great. Now Nero's numbers are not much better in hardpoint. I think I'll get to why maybe they chose Vivid over Nero in a second. Reese's S&D numbers, again, very similar to Nero. First Blood's very similar there, but he definitely struggled in control this season, pretty much averaging below a 0.9, while also having a lot of engagements, but like significantly more deaths than the rest of his team. So my guess when it comes to this decision, I think, obviously there are some performance things in here that might lead Boston to decide to move on from Vivid. But I'm also thinking, like always, these roster changes, there's behind the scenes stuff and maybe a comfort fit. And they decide to go in a different direction because as we've seen with Boston, we've talked about them all season, they've never yet hit their potential. They've gotten some decent placings this year, especially at the last 2 events, but they haven't yet gotten over the hump. They haven't really gotten into a grand final as a team yet. They've gotten really, really close over the last 2 years. They made it to losers finals, but they haven't yet won that match. And I think where they're trying to get to next with this project is get into a final. If you win it, great. If not, top 2 is a really good building block. This team's going to make it to COD champs, and I think this is a longer term play and probably the last piece of any moves they're going to make with their project team this season. So I really like it. I'm excited to see how Kremp does at this level. And I think we're going to see him against London, I believe, this weekend. Now, as for Reese Vivid, I'm not really sure what happens next for him. He did tweet out that he was a restricted free agent. I asked around the league, and it doesn't really seem like right now that there's a massive market for him. I mean, he kind of missed out on all the submachine gun changes from like 1 to 2 to 3 weeks ago after the last major. But there could be some teams shuffling up after the next event. Because he's a restricted FA, he would need to be bought out. Although I don't know if his price is probably too crazy. And I think Boston could also pull the same maneuver that Toronto did with Sandy, that LAG did with Hook, and go ahead and release him if there's sort of a team offer out there, but buyouts can't be agreed. I think they would do right by Reese Vivid and just make someone else the sub on their team. But I would say that barring any of that, I think the most likely scenario for Reese Vivid is he's going to play challengers and probably have to wait to get in a pro team next season. I think he's good enough. I don't think that, though, a lot of top teams are going to take a look at him. I think he's looking at sort of the project 9 through 12 type teams. Once again, he's going to have to kind of work on the things that he's had issues with. I think especially at times he does kind of ego chow. And I think having a little bit more composure and a little bit more smarts and not making a lot of left stick mistakes, I think would help his chances on getting on a better team. So that's the video for today. You know, I kind of thought final thoughts is thinking about it more, it makes sense to me why Boston is making this move right now. I guess this is poor on my part for not kind of seeing it. You know, they didn't have like the worst weekend. They went 1-1 this past weekend of matches. And I thought, you know, that's just sort of how things go online. But I guess they felt differently after the 2 games. I felt like they wanted to make the change now and not wait. So I kind of see where they were coming from. Again, I thought this move would happen maybe before the event or maybe in the middle of this major, but they pulled the trigger pretty early here, and they're going to have some time to get comfortable with Kremp. Going into a major that is not in front of a crowd, is in a closed land environment, I think it's a solid opportunity for Kremp to get comfortable with sort of all you've got to do as a pro, especially when it comes to events, before they go in front of a crowd in Toronto for the last major of the season. And then for this team, champs at location to be determined. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought on the video. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more. I think we're going to do my predictions video tomorrow for the next week of matches, as well as probably a Q&A video later this week before I leave Florida. So be on the lookout for those. As always, we will see you guys on the next one.